Good morning and welcome to the RASA 2025 AGM. And as you can probably tell, I'm Paul, VK2APA. I'm the RASA president and I'm chairing the meeting, the AGM with the support of RASA management team. Introductions, we've got Vice President Bob Bristow, VK2POP, Admin Secretary Ian Jackson, VK2BUF, Acting Director, who joined us to fill a slot, Robert Nicol, VK2LOL, and General Secretary Andy Beals, VK4KCS, who's here on a phone link. The AGM minutes are being taken by Ian, VK3BUF. This year's AGM will be made available for viewing afterwards once uploaded to the RASA YouTube page. And there will be a brief Q&A session at the end of the AGM where our team will answer questions. And of course, keep in mind, you can always ask questions at any time by sending us email. I'd like to point out that the AGM meeting protocol followed today is fully compliant with our association rules. And I also wish to note that the previous minutes from the 2023 AGM have been circulated to all members 21 days prior to the AGM, and that the meeting has been available for viewing for the past year as well. Membership was polled by email for confirmation that these minutes reflected the proceedings last year, and there was no dissenting feedback received. Okay, all right, that's basically the introductions. Just quickly, RASA AGM marks the beginning of the Society's year and the new year and the old year. And we often reflect on what the Society's activities over the last 12 months have been. It's been a successful year for RASA. We've launched some new activity. We've consolidated some of our work as well, and we've maintained and supported resources for amateur radio in Australia and continued representation with the ACMA. And this year has needed little less to consult with the ACMA. However, there's been still matters that required attention and our focus. And some of these matters are such. We voiced concerns of the amateur community, which supported the process change implemented by the ACMA on the approval of licensing of repeaters and beacons. And you can see the rest of the text on that in QTC November 2024. We clarified with the ACMA on the changes and on third-party trafficking, which appeared on their website, and that led to a revision to reflect the original legislation. ACMA consultation on proposed changes to the LCD, that appeared in QTC June 2025. And representation and feedback on class licensing has been running smoothly. Class licensing, I should say, has been running smoothly. However, there's still questions about a lack of a formal license document, and that seems to be still a bugbear there for some people. We're continuing to also look at the availability of 1 kilowatt power output for advanced licensees, and there's always the question of 60 metres, the access to 60 metres, which is also an ongoing thing with RASA at the moment. What else have we been up to? Resources for amateur radio. We've continued to focus on delivering non-paywalled resources and support for amateur radio community. We've got the new Welcome to Amateur Radio brochure, which is brand new. It's been developed as a handout that clubs, groups can use to publicise the hobby and their organisation when dealing with the general public. We're experimenting with that, and we're quite happy to get some feedback on what people think about that. This is Amateur Radio. That's been an experimental and evolving interactive resource on all aspects of the hobby, which should be of help to those who are considering becoming part of the hobby and where their interests lie, and for amateurs who wish to explore other aspects of the hobby. And again, we're keen to get any feedback on that as to develop and improve that resource. The foundation level study guide. This guide has been quite well received and is based on the updated foundation curriculum provided by the ACMA and continues to be a popular download. The guide has been maintained and updated over the 12 months and can be found on the RASA website. The VK Regs Info, our regulations publication in plain English in conjunction with the Radio and Electronics School, is currently available. And it was on its own website, vkregs.info, but that will be migrated eventually as part of a cost-saving measure to the RASA website in the near future. Welcome to Amateur Radio Guide. Has also been maintained and is still well received, and it's available on the website. So yeah, RASA continues to present to clubs along with QR and Guru as a RASA supported initiative, and that still is a very popular and powerful tool for people that face interference. We've also been looking at best options to host existing and future resources and have plans to reduce some of our costs. We think it could be around about $800, which is an appreciable amount when you're dealing with a club or a society like ours that prides itself on trying to keep its costs down and its delivery. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what we've been up to. And I'll hand it over to Bob, VK6POP, our Vice President, for his, he has some words here as well. Over to you, Bob.
Yeah, right, you got me. I was looking at something. Where am I in the thing? Here we are. Sorry about that. In terms of our software, web presence and all that sort of stuff, and with great help from the new guy on the team, Rob, when RASA was created, half a dozen people did a whole lot of work each, and now we're bringing it all together and collating all the domains into a single registry. And similarly, we're rationalizing web hosting into a single provider, and that's Ventra IP. We're examining the online resources that we do use, both free and paid services, some we actually pay for, to ensure value for money and keeping up with new services as they emerge, because there are things around now that we weren't aware of or didn't exist when RASA began. And very importantly, we're improving the security and governance for users, logins, passwords, etc. for all the things we do use. It's a real jungle out there in terms of all the things we have to log into. And so we have to be certain that we have a secure method of recording all this stuff and making sure that everybody on the team knows where it is. That's been a bit of a thing, getting all that together. That's it on the software stuff. Do you want me to talk about QTC now?
Yeah, if you'd like to. Yeah, fit that in as well. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, the QTC magazine. It's a what am I saying? We went through a few permutations of how we present the QTC magazine, and we eventually settled on having a monthly publication, but not as big. We were doing it bi-monthly, something like 60 or 70 pages with, and in between the publication, we'd put out a QTC Lite or bulletins or whatever, with more up-to-date news, and it became quite unwieldy. So we've changed to a monthly publication, which is has fewer pages, and we do away with QTC Lite altogether. And we still have the capacity for urgent messages or announcements. In between, we can put them out as bulletins. And we're looking urgently for volunteers on the production side of QTC, because it's me at the moment doing all the production stuff. I'm getting good support from the team and others with content. However, it would be nice to have some backup there. If I was to trip over my slippers or something, it would have no one to do the work. But anyway, that's it. We get a lot of positive feedback about it, and that's important. And the other thing is that people have to go to the website to download it or to view it, and so that means it's arriving because they want to see it. Apart from that, that's QTC.
Okay, thanks for that, Bob. Much appreciated all that feedback and what's going on. Okay, who's next up? We've got Ian, who's acting treasurer. He'll give us the financial report.
Rob's doing a strip show.
One moment. Is my mic open?
Yes.
Oh, good. There's a little bit of latency in some of the controls on the screen, and it says it was still off, so that's nice to know. Good morning, all. Yeah, the financials for this year are uncomplicated. We only have 2 accounts that our funds feed into, and a third account in PayPal, which is periodically emptied into the primary account as membership fees roll in. Overall, I'll go into a little bit more detail in a moment, but overall, our position is fine. We spent a lot of money this financial year on our brochure rollout, and that has affected our total bottom line for the year, but that was an important part of what we are doing. We launched our This is Amateur Radio website this year, and that, while it's got its own fees associated with that site, that will be consolidated and over the next few months, and to try and reduce those domain names from being paid separately. We had our conference in mid-year, which was very useful and allowed us to work on things like our brochures and our planning. The ferrite kit sales, we suspended those just about a year ago, and that was fine. We sold many thousands of ferrite parts, and I think those who wanted their ferrite parts had already got them, and that tapered off. So we let that particular merchandising program, we wound that one up about this time last year. So there hasn't been any merchandising sales this year, and that did help us, but we've got to be able to do what we can, and it has to be viable. Yes, on those brochures, we sent a sample of pack of 10 brochures to pretty much every radio club in the country, although maybe about 5% bounced back because their address details had changed, because a lot of clubs have no longer maintaining their post office boxes. They've just gone to different addresses, and they bounced back. But I guess this is also a good exercise in finding out where the contact details are for various groups. Where we have been doing well is that while we only want the $10 basic membership subscription from our members, that goes down quite well, because not everyone can pay a lot for subscriptions of groups, and this keeps it low, and the cost of participation is low, but many of our members have elected to donate a little bit more, and that has helped us a lot, and comes into the revenue stream. We have maintained both the magazine that Bob described as a PDF file, which is being distributed, and as the Flip magazine. The Flip magazine service at the moment is a little expensive, and we're looking at some alternatives on that might be a bit cheaper. But that's, I think, something like about $500 a year under the scheme that we're using. So, yeah, the profit and loss, the details were in the report that was circulated. I won't go through with dollars and cents, but most of our expenses have been from the publicity campaign that we had for the brochures and from the postage fees that included. The software subscriptions of various kinds, we're paying for quite a few of those, like Member Planet and a few other cloud-based services. We have dropped off the arts technical support portal, and that saves us a little bit. The net position, okay, so our where are we? Total income was about just under $4,000, and our total expenses is showing at about $6,500, and a lot of that is because of the recent expenses of the brochure mail out, and that we haven't yet received the full whack of our membership renewals. They're still coming in. That puts our position at around about $3,300. Anyway, that information is reflected in the report that was already circulated. So I'll pass it back to you, Paul.
Thanks, Ian, for that. Good to see we're solvent, and that's the important thing at this point. That's great. All right. Next section of the meeting will be the election results, and we held the election commenced on August the 6th. And the process was overseen by our returns officer, Michael van den Akker, VK3 GHM. And I'd like to thank Michael on behalf of RASA management and membership for providing his services in this role. So again, over to our admin secretary, Ian, VK3 BOF, to read the report from the returns officer.
Thanks again. Make sure our audio is where it should be. Somewhere around there should be okay. Yes,
That's
Michael, our returns officer has been on the road. He's been involved with the solar challenge from Darwin to Adelaide, and had been working with us while travelling. And yes, thanks for making that effort, Michael. But I've got his report here, which essentially I shall read out. That the Radio Amateur Society of Australia election and AGM results called for nominations were made to members by email on the 5th of August with a request for nominations for RASA committee positions for 2025-2026 to be received by the returns officer by the 20th of August 2025. Only one nomination for each of the following positions was received before the due time and date. President Paul, VK3 APA, or VK2 APA. He's got a typo there, Paul.
Have I got a typo? Oh,
yes, he's got a typo. I'll put an amendment in there. So you're VK2 APA.
Yes.
Bob, VK6 PAP as Vice President. And Robert, VK3 LOL as Treasurer. General Secretary, Andy, VK4 KCS. And I was acting as the Admin Secretary. Okay, that's the roles. Therefore, these above positions can be filled by the nominees without ballot. I, Michael van den Akker, VK3 GHM, as returns officer, do hereby declare that the above results are true and accurate record of the results as submitted by nominees. Yep, and that's the report from our officer. So I guess that was a very straightforward operation.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. No, that. Thank you for that, Ian. Okay. Now I've lost my place in my script. Not that that's that important, but yeah, thank you, Ian, for for that. Okay, well, that pretty well sums up most of what the meeting is about as far as the admin side of it. I'll just have a few words here, and I won't keep you too long. What's the future hold for RASA? We're focusing on ways to grow and improve amateur radio in Australia. And to do that, we're sort of looking at strategies that are available, as the previous incentives are no longer effective in the current landscape. And this is a significant initiative as the hobby must evolve to remain relevant. Stay tuned for QTC magazine for updates on our progress. There are many amateur radio organisations in Australia with a role to play, and we believe that cooperation and working together is the key to securing the future and diversity of our hobby. We eagerly await and anticipate collaborating with clubs, groups and bodies which will lead to a better experience for all who participate in our unique hobby. What's planned for this coming year? Well, a lot of things happen as they happen. We've got to be a dynamic organisation, but we'll also be looking at the usual things like continuing to communicate with, of course, with amateurs here in Australia, regularly and openly seek input and feedback from the community. This is your society and you're welcome to provide input. This is why we're here. We'll represent Australian amateurs to the regulator, the ACMA. We'll monitor and continue to provide input to the ACMA's management of amateur radio. Continue to lobby for the kilowatt for advanced licensees. Continue to develop and promote support QRM Guru, which is an initiative supported by RASA. Education and awareness of VK regulations and other stuff like that from the ACMA. Continue to develop resources to help foundation licensees and newcomers examine the potential for further. We've dabbled with Whisper and the reverse beacon network and things like that. We'll be looking at our options in that regard, whether those services are doing their job and whether we'll expand those, and develop other strategies to grow and evolve and improve the amateur radio hobby here. Our members and volunteers are the backbone of RASA, and we couldn't do that without these people. So we'd like to recognise the support of people that have worked in the background and helped us. So again, the committee, and I'll speak on behalf of the committee, extends a big thank you to the support that the membership has given us, the financial contributions and the goodwill, and as you've shown over the last 12 months. With that in mind, RASA is actively seeking individuals to join our volunteer team. On behalf of the RASA management team, I wish you all success in your amateur radio endeavours. So this now concludes the 2025 RASA AGM, and I thank you for your attendance.